All right, well, good morning and welcome. Today we have a full agenda of 8 legislative items and 10 nominations, from cybersecurity to ocean-related matters, a concrete checkoff program, and even a measure on FCC data collection. Today's agenda not only illustrates this committee's broad jurisdiction, but also the bipartisan nature of most of our work, as every legislative item we will consider today is supported by both Democrats and Republicans. I'm particularly proud of 2 measures which I've worked on with Senators Klobuchar and Nelson, the Human Trafficking on Our Roads Act, and Senator Klobuchar's Combating Human Trafficking in Commercial Vehicles Act. Together, these 2 bills address the prevention and enforcement of human trafficking in the transportation sector, and will continue the good work of many who fight to eliminate human trafficking on a daily basis. Our bills are supported by a wide range of stakeholders, including the National District Attorneys Association, Humanity United Action, the South Dakota Trucking Association, UPS, Retail Industry Leaders Association, Schneider Trucking, and the National Retail Federation. I would ask unanimous consent that support letters from these groups are included in the record. Today we'll also consider almost a dozen well-qualified nominees. If confirmed, they will fill a number of key vacancies, including the general counsel positions at the Department of Commerce and Transportation, the chairman of the National Transportation Safety Board, and will even finally be able to fully constitute the Federal Communications Commission. While the committee has done our work and processed nominees in a timely manner, something for which I'm grateful to the ranking member and all of you, consideration of nominees by the full Senate has been arduous, even for the most non-controversial nominees. It appears that logjam may soon be breaking, however, and the 2 leaders may be working on a nominations package for consideration before we recess. It is my hope that this package will not only include many of the nominees our committee has approved, but also 6 telecom measures this committee has reported by voice vote, which have been held up as we awaited Jessica Rosenworcel's renomination and confirmation. These include the Mobile Now Act, Senator Klobuchar's Improving Rural Call Quality and Reliability Act, and the Carries Law Act, Senator Heller's FCC Consolidated Reporting Act, Senator Nelson's Spoofing Prevention Act, and Senator Fisher and Senator Booker's Digit Act. These bipartisan measures have languished for too long, and it's time to send them to the House of Representatives. A final comment on 2 items not being considered today: the autonomous vehicle legislation Senator Peters and I have been working on, and the nomination of David Rettel to be the Assistant Secretary of Commerce. Self-driving vehicle technology has enormous potential for safety and mobility, and while we had both hoped that it would be ready today, getting it right is more important than artificial deadlines. We're optimistic that the committee will be able to consider the bill sometime this fall. As to Mr. Rettel, we've had a request for additional time to follow up on issues raised during his confirmation hearing and subsequent requests for information from the Commerce Department. While I believe he's well qualified and have heard from a number of his supporters, I also believe his nomination will advance more smoothly if members have the next few weeks to resolve those outstanding issues. With that, I'll turn to Senator Nelson for any opening remarks that he would like to make.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and it has been a delight to work with you in a bipartisan manner, which is the great tradition of this committee. Most of these issues we've been able to work out cooperatively, as the Senate is supposed to work in that manner, given the backdrop of an atmosphere that is not exactly that outside of this committee. What I would urge is that, since we're making a number of steps forward here today, that we try to wrap up when we get back in September the FAA bill and get that going. Also, we've got to take care of some things on the Coast Guard bill so we can get that to the floor in September, and those should be 2 orders of business that would be at the top of the agenda for us to try to get the Senate and then get it through the House so that we can get them reauthorized. Today we have a good package of bills on the agenda. I want to just touch on 2. Last month we held a hearing on the topic of the human trafficking, and it highlighted the work that's being done at the national and state level. We know the consequences, as you just pointed out, of human trafficking. In my state, unbelievably, the amount of human trafficking that is going on. According to the hotline, Florida ranks 3rd in the country for the number of cases reported last year. There are local anti-trafficking groups and task forces. And a good example is the Greater Orlando Human Trafficking Task Force, and everyday heroes like the Florida truck driver who helped save a trafficking victim in Virginia because at a truck stop he had noticed that something was wrong and he did something about it. And she is no longer a captive. And so those task forces, they work to train other drivers, other truck drivers, that are trying to be part of the solution. The two bills before us today aim to further these initiatives by elevating this issue and the DOT and helping to prevent and deter human trafficking. A lot of us are very happy to be a co-sponsor of these important bills, and I want to tell you that I appreciate your leadership and Senator Klobuchar's efforts to advance them. So let's proceed.
Okay. Thank you, Senator Nelson. And with that, I'll recognize you for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I now move that Agenda Item 1, the Concrete Masonry Products Research, Education, and Promotion Act, Item 5, the No Human Trafficking on Our Roads Act, and Item 8, the Rural Wireless Access Act, be adopted and reported favorably without amendment.
Is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it.
Mr.
Agreed to. Senator Lee.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recorded as a no on S-374.
Senator Lee will be so recorded on S-374. Senator Nelson.
Mr. Chairman, I now move that Item 2, the Cyber Scholarship Opportunities Act of 2017, as modified by the Wicker substitute. Item 3, the American Fisheries Advisory Committee Act, as modified by Shots 1. Item 4, the Coordinated Ocean Monitoring and Research Act, as modified by Wicker 1 and Booker 1. Item 6, the Combating Human Trafficking in Commercial Vehicles Act with the modified Booker 1, and Item 7, the Great Lakes Environmental Sensitivity Index Act as modified by the Peters substitute be adopted and reported favorably as modified with amendments in the nature of a substitute.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to. Senator Nelson. Senator Markey.
Vote on S-1322.
Which one of those?
Yes, we did. That's item 3.
Yes.
May I have it recorded now?
Senator Markey wishes to be recorded no. Senator Nelson.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Item 13, Peter Davidson to be General Counsel of the Department of Commerce. Item 14, Karen Dunn Kelly to be Undersecretary of Commerce for Economic Affairs. Item 15, Elizabeth Walsh to be Assistant Secretary of Commerce and Director General of the United States and Foreign Commercial Service. Item 17, Mark Busby to be MARAD Administrator. Item 18, Ronald Battery to be FRA Administrator. And Item 19, Robert Sumwalt to be the Chairman of the NTSB, be reported favorably.
Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion's agreed to. Senator Nelson.
Mr. Chairman, I move that Item 9, the reappointment of Ajit Pai to be a member of the FCC. Item 10, the reappointment of Jessica Rosenworcel to be a member of the FCC. Now, I have to seek some clarification here. Mr. Chairman, the members a good number of members on our side are certainly willing to go forward with Brendan Carr for one term, but not for 2 consecutive terms. So how do you want to handle that?
If you want to be recorded as no on the entire package, that'd probably be,
On the second term.
or on the second term. Well, can we break them out, though?
No, you can just say which one, if you want.
Okay.
Well, I would like to break them out so it's very clear, and it's my understanding that this is what is being agreed to anyway between the leaders for a package to come to the floor.
Okay.
So I'm going to leave it at item 9 and item 10, and then I'll move item 11.
Mr. Chairman, just
Senator
an
Blunt.
inquiry, when does that first term end?
June of 18.
June of 18? So less than a year.
Correct.
Thank you.
All right, so we have, the motion then is on the, both Pye and Rosenworcel nominations, correct?
That's correct.
Mr. Chairman, is it possible after that vote to be recorded no on Mr. Pye?
Yes, you can record no. So let's do the Pye and Rosenworcel, and is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recorded no on
Okay.
Ajit Pye.
Senator Cantwell wishes to be recorded as a no.
Mr. Chairman, I wish to be recorded as no on Pye, please.
So noted.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recorded as no on Pye.
Senator Booker, it's noted.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to be recorded as no on Pye as well.
There has. Is everybody getting this?
Mr. Chairman, no on Pye as well. Thank you.
Senator Markey?
I'd like to be recorded as a no on Pye.
Mr. Chairman, likewise.
Okay. Senator Schatz? Okay. With that, we'll move to the next nominee, and that would, I'll turn again to Senator Nelson. And Senator Nelson, you wish to be recorded as a yes on the first.
What I'd like to do is separate the two. I think you could get a voice vote on Brendan Carr for the first term and then have a recorded vote on the second term. And at the end of the day, this is what's being negotiated between the Democratic and the Republican leader, majority leader.
Okay, so let's, the motion would be then for the
Nominating
conclusion
Brendan Carr.
of this term for Brendan Carr. Is there a second for that?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, no. The ayes have it. The motion is agreed to for the first term. For the second term, you would wish to have a recorded vote.
I
Okay, so
will,
this would be
I
the,
will move that, for purposes of a recorded vote, Brendan Carr to be a member of the FCC for that second.
second five-year term beginning.
732.
What's that?
PN 732, that's the term.
PN 732 is the term number.
Second the nomination.
There's a second by Senator Blunt, and so I'll ask for the yeas and nays. Yes, yes, Senator Markey.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. The context of this is that we have one Democratic commissioner, Mignon Clyburn, whose term has already expired. And we are awaiting her decision as to whether or not she wants to be renominated or whether or not there will be a vacancy. And in the context, as a result of the discussion which we're having here about Mr. Carr, the Democrats are willing to accept him taking this partial term that expires in the middle of next year, but in anticipation that there will be a Democrat who will also have to be voted upon, and that would then, in proper time, create the proper pairing of a Democrat and Republican who would be brought before us simultaneously, which is the tradition of the committee, so that we could have that process move simultaneously. Otherwise, Mr. Carr will have received a term that would run 6.5 years. There would be no one to pair the new Democratic nominee with, and it would create something that was ahistorical, and just in terms of the way in which the comity of the committee operated. So we're willing, obviously, to accept, the next year but with anticipation, almost as a guarantee, that we're going to have a situation where there is a Democrat. And so that's all that we're really asking for here, is that the committee accept kind of our good faith that we're in support of allowing Mr. Carr to bring the commission to full strength, 5 members, but with the knowledge that there would be an opportunity to have a Democrat most likely also be nominated. So that's really what our goal is, and why the Democrats would prefer for him not to be given a 5-year term before this term has even expired. This term that he will be in won't expire until the middle of next year. And so it's not that we're in any way trying to be obstinate, obdurate. It's just that we're trying to keep the traditions of the committee intact with a Democrat and Republican being paired sometime later on this year or next year, so that we can move forward with that tradition. So that's the statement that I just wanted to insert so that people can understand what our goals are here.
Thank you. Senator Nelson.
Mr. Chairman, I want to make sure that the committee understands the reasoning, the very good reasoning that Senator Markey has pointed out, is that although Senator Wicker or Senator Blunt, whoever pointed out that Carr's term would end in June of 18, Carr would still be able to serve all the way through 19. So if we got into a situation that suddenly the majority leader, Mitch McConnell, did not, and Minion Clyburn vacated the seat, we would have a 3-1 Democrat to Republican, when in fact the commission is supposed to be 3-2. And that's not cricket. So it's merely the procedure that we find ourselves in, that procedurally a 3-1 commission could be retained all the way through the end of 2019. And that's not what we intend to do, and that's why we are insisting, and I think at the end of the day that's going to be the result, because it is my understanding that that is the agreement that the two leaders are hammering out for floor action right now.
Okay, thank you, Senator Nelson. And we will have, in terms of there is precedent, obviously, for members of these various, including the FCC, commissions having terms filling out the end of one term and then also being nominated and confirmed to a full term. So there's precedent for that. With respect to the issue of pairing, I understand that historically that's been the practice, and I don't expect that would change. But I also know that with the number of boards and commissions, independent boards and commissions under this committee's jurisdiction, there'll be ample opportunities for us to pair with a Democrat. There are a number of agencies that have vacancies that we're going to need to fill, and those vacancies are on both sides of the aisle. So I appreciate your
Mr. Chairman.
concerns. Senator Campbell.
Chairman, my understanding is that it is unprecedented to give someone a nomination for 2 terms in a row at the same time. So I'm happy to hear what the other precedent was. And I think in this climate, it's especially important that we continue to exercise our oversight duties. Mr. Carr, as a former staffer of Ajit Pai's, I want to make sure that as he gets on the commission that he's going to express his independent views. So I would like to talk to him again after some length of time on the FCC. So I am happy to hear what this precedent is that this is following, because I don't understand where we've ever come to the committee and said, yes, we're giving you 2 terms, pass, go, all at once.
Well, I think probably the most analogous case to Carr's is that of Gloria Tristani, who was a Democrat FCC commissioner appointed by President Clinton, who was nominated 2 consecutive terms, very similar in terms of the timing.
At the same time?
At the same time.
At the same vote?
At the same vote. And so it was to finish a remainder of a term that expired in June of 1998, and then a full 5-year term follow on. She was confirmed to both at the same time in October of 1997. So let's move forward. Board, let's vote. We got some others we have to get to unless anybody else has comments on that. We have a motion and a second, and we have a request for a roll call vote, so I'll ask the clerk to call the roll. The vote is on Brendan Carr's full 5-year term to the FCC. So we've already confirmed him to finish out the current term, and then this would be for the second term. The yeas and nays. Clerk will call the roll.
Senator Wicker.
Aye.
Senator Blunt.
Aye.
Senator Cruz.
Aye.
Senator Fisher.
Because
Senator Moran.
it's giving him 2 terms. and
Senator Sullivan.
I don't trust the guy.
Senator Heller.
I'll come back and hear what his thing is.
Senator Inhofe. Senator Lee. Senator Johnson. Senator Capito. Senator Gardner. Senator Young. Senator Nelson.
No.
Senator Cantwell. Senator Klobuchar.
No.
Senator Blumenthal.
No.
Senator Schatz. Senator Markey. Senator Booker. Senator Udall. Senator Peters. Senator Baldwin. Senator Duckworth. Senator Hassan. Senator Cortez Masto. Chairman Thune.
Yes.
The yeas are 14, the noes are 13.
Motion's agreed to. Mr. Chairman,
Chairman.
or Senator Nelson.
I just want to point out that it is my clear understanding that Senator Schumer and the majority leader are working out an arrangement, otherwise it will not go forward on the floor, of a package that includes a lot of nominations, and that will be only for the first term for Brendan Carr. I want the record to reflect that since he was nominated June the 20th of this year, if he were in and approved for 2 terms, he could serve 5 years plus another year, specifically another 366 days. And so there might be precedent, as you pointed out, under the Clinton administration, but clearly there is no precedent for a second term being this long, of which you would throw the entire balance of the FCC, which it was intended, out of whack if a majority leader did not allow the second minority vacancy to be filled. And that is expressed in the vote here by the minority of this committee. And I think as a practical matter, that's what will be the result on the floor.
Thank you, Senator Nelson. And I think that negotiation is underway on the floor, and our leaders will figure out what happens after these are moved out of committee. We have one more piece of business, and I will. I guess you want to make that you want to make that motion, or okay?
Sure. Mr. Chairman, I move that agenda item 16, the nomination of Steve Bradbury to be General Counsel of the Department of Transportation, be reported. Mr. Chairman, I'd like a roll call vote on this nomination, and I'd like to say a word about him before we vote.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
There is a second. Senator Nelson.
Mr. Chairman, I respect Mr. Bradbury's many years of experience. This senator cannot support his nomination. His refusal to recuse himself from all the potential safety matters involving the Takata airbag crisis raises serious questions about his ability to be independent and to independently carry out his role as general counsel.
Thank you, Senator Nelson.
Senator Duckworth.
Senator Duckworth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I strongly oppose Mr. Bradbury's nomination to be General Counsel at the Department of Transportation. My primary reason for opposing Mr. Bradbury's nomination to U.S. DOT or any other role in government is rooted in his role in drafting the torture memos at the Justice Department during the Bush administration. I cannot, in good conscience, validate a decision that jeopardized the safety of men and women in uniform across our military by voting to advance his nomination today. Mr. Bradbury was an architect of the legal justification for detainee abuse that, in my opinion, should disqualify someone from any government service. Presidential appointees are sworn in to serve the interests of the American public. But Mr. Bradbury's noteworthy history of demonstrating complete deference to a single president's policy goals is deeply troubling to me, especially in an administration that demands loyalty to one person above all else. As I said during his nomination hearing, an unprincipled lawyer paired with an unprincipled president is a dangerous combination, regardless of the agency in which he serves. And I stand by those words. Mr. Chairman, I oppose the nomination of Stephen Bradbury to be General Counsel to the U.S. Department of Transportation, and I yield back. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Duckworth. Senator Blumenthal.
Mr. Chairman, I want to explain my no vote as well for reasons that Senators Duckworth and Nelson have outlined. His involvement in the torture issue and in Takata, but also I asked him at the hearing whether he had represented what airlines he had represented. He mentioned America. He failed to mention United, but he mentioned it in his biography and on his firm's website as a past client. And I feel that he failed to explain his failure to mention United, as well as failing to explain the complaint filed against him, which he denied, with the D.C. Bar Association relating to his participation in the torture issue. So I will vote against him.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate that, Senator Blumenthal. And I think I'll just very briefly say that he is somebody who enjoys broad support among many in the legal community. He's got a stellar legal career, supported by a lot of prominent attorneys and officials, including several Democrats like former Transportation Secretaries Norm Mineta and Rod Slater, who wrote, along with other prominent Democrats, "We have nothing but the highest respect for his legal skills, his judgment, his work ethic, and his professionalism. As a public servant, he undoubtedly will bring these same qualities to this important job in the service to our country." And I will just say, for the record, I agree with Secretaries Mineta and Slater. So yes, Senator Sullivan.
I just want to try to clarify what Senator Nelson said about the recusing himself. I seem to recall both in his written materials and during his confirmation that he would recuse himself on Takata-related issues and other issues that he worked on. So I think it's important to try to get clarification on that. But my recollection is that he stated that pretty clearly.
He did at his confirmation hearing. That's correct. All right. If there's nothing else, let the yeas and nays have been requested. We'll have the quick.
Mr. Chairman, for that issue that Senator Sullivan has raised, I would like to insert in the record Bradbury's letter, where I think it becomes clear that he says he would not, if a waiver is granted him, he would not oppose that waiver on Takata-related matters. And so if the record could reflect his own words from his letter.
It'll be included. All right, let's have the clerk call the roll.
Senator Wicker. Senator Blunt. Senator Cruz. Senator Fisher. Senator Moran. Senator Sullivan. Senator Heller. Senator Inhofe. Senator Lee. Senator Johnson. Senator Capito. Senator Gardner. Senator Young. Senator Nelson. Senator Cantwell. Senator Klobuchar, Senator Blumenthal, Senator Schatz, Senator Markey, Senator Booker, Senator Udall, Senator Peters, Senator Baldwin, Senator Duckworth, Senator Hassan, Senator Cortez Masto, Chairman Thune. The yeas are 13, the noes are, the yeas are 14, the noes are 13.
The motion is agreed to. That wraps up our business. Anybody? Senator Markey. Thank you all very much for being here, for your participation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just Googled FCC commissioners and just going back to Gloria Tristani. Gloria Tristani was confirmed on November 3rd of 1997, but on the same day, Michael Powell, Republican, was confirmed, November 3rd, 97. So wasn't Republican Harold Furchgoth Roth, November 3rd, 1997, and another Democrat, Bill Kennard, November 3rd, 1997. So they did 4 on the same day, 2 Democrats and 2 Republicans. So the Tristani nomination was in the context.
That's on the floor. Is that?
That was on the floor, right? November 3rd.
And as Senator Nelson pointed out, I think that negotiation is
Right. So
carrying on in terms of how we pair them. Thank you, Senator Mark. Senator Nelson. Oh, yes.
Mr. Chairman, just to further document the record, we have a whole sheath of letters that we've received in opposition to Stephen Bradbury. I'd like that entered into the committee record.
Without objection.
Mr. Chairman, if I could
Senator
enter
Cantwell.
in statements on the Ocean Monitoring Research Act offered by Senator Wicker and myself, and I so appreciate working with him on such an important issue, and a statement on the 1322, the American Fisheries Advisory Committee Act. I also thank my colleague from Alaska for his work on that.
Thank you, Senator Cantwell, and nice work on both sides. Senator Klobuchar.
Mr. Chairman, I wanted to thank you and Ranking Member Nelson for including the anti-human trafficking legislation on the agenda. This is something that still continues to plague our country, and this work on the motor vehicle front should make a big difference, and I've truly enjoyed working with the group Truckers Against Trafficking, so thank you.
Thank you, Senator Klobuchar. Anything else for the good of the record?
Mr. Chairman.
Yes. Where's that coming from? Oh,
Right
sorry,
over here.
Senator Fisher.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to thank you for your support of the Booker-Fisher Amendment. 1, to the Combating Human Trafficking in Commercial Vehicles Act. We all know that human trafficking is a vile crime, and bringing groups together to help coordinate our efforts across the country to address this crime is extremely important that we do that. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Fisher, for your great leadership on that issue, and hopefully we'll get that moved through the Senate shortly. Senator Markey.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. I've been working with Chairman Sullivan on the American Fisheries Advisory Committee Act, and I just wanted to thank him for all of his work on that, and like to continue to work with him in terms of changes that could be made between now and the floor.
Okay, thank you, Senator Markey. And that was the one on which you were recorded as a no, right? Okay. All right, if there's nothing else, I will just, too, for purposes of the record, submit letters in support of Stephen Bradbury for the position of General Counsel at DOT. If there's nothing else, this meeting is adjourned.